on-site Miami Open. What do you think? Hey guys, before we continue, be sure to hit that like button, share, subscribe, comment. It really helps out the channel. You can also support us on Buy Me a Coffee. I'll have a QR code probably right around here on the screen. Recently returned from my annual pilgrimage to the second stop of the Sunshine Double, the Miami Open. Following what has been coined as the tennis paradise out in Indian Wells, California, to
Miami. We're in a parking lot of a football stadium. We're in Miami Gardens, which is a dump. And you got the courts in the parking lot, and then there's a grandstand, and then they wall off half a football stadium.
So follow me along this quick trip into the second week of the tournament. We attended the Sunday night and Monday day session. For the night session, we got seats in the stadium. This far in the tourney, the outer courts maybe have one match or anything left over from the day session.
Anna Samova versus
Mira Andreeva, yeah, that was a good win.
Yeah.
And then
Tommy Paul went down
yeah.
to Cerundolo. We saw a little bit of Monfils. The crowd was really, French crowd was pretty electric.
Yeah, it's pretty packed. We got a glimpse of it from over back over here, Butch Bolt. The only thing we didn't talk about in that video was on the grandstand, there was a match between Casper Ruud and Debilio. Crowd obviously behind Debilio, so that was fun to watch. We started Monday morning early with a hit at a court nearby the hotel. You can see here Jason's trying to clean up the wet spot on the baseline. I don't know if you can see it in the video, but it's a bit of a purple and blue combo. I thought that was interesting, Miramar, but maybe that was faded from the sun. After the hit, we grabbed a late kind of mid-morning breakfast over at Colada Cuban in Pembroke Pines. This place is about 15 minutes away from the stadium. Great small Cuban cafe, great dishes with a twist. Check them out if you're in the area. For the day session, we bounced around a lot, watched several matches. We opted not to get stadium seating for Monday.
Well, we saw Naomi get knocked out. Pretty windy conditions.
Then we saw Opelka got taken down by Hotch, right? And right now it's who's coming up? Fritz and Chapo, right? That should be fun on the grandstand.
Yep.
And then who else is later? I think right now.
Peace and Tiafo.
Okay, and then right now in the stadium, it's Vera is actually up a set. Then Colin Sabalenka's after that. So good day of tennis. This is day 2 for us. In addition to our on-site synopsis, we did get to see Djokovic on the practice court with Andy Murray doing his coaching duties. We did see Anna Samova was back after a long match the night before. Again in the afternoon against Raducanu. Unfortunately, she lost that on Butch Bolt's court. And the last match we saw before heading out for the day was TFO versus Arthur Fils on the grandstand. That was a close one. It went 3 sets, but Arthur Fils pulled that one out. That night match would have been interesting. I saw the crowds pouring in as we were leaving. That was Diminar versus Joao Fonseca. So that seemed like it was a pretty exciting match to watch if we could have stayed. Okay, ticket types. There are basically 3 different levels of tickets you can get for the Miami Open. You get a stadium seat, which is a reserved seat within the stadium. I would recommend not getting anything on the 300 level unless you're on a budget and you really want to be inside or covered, not necessarily inside. Those seats are pretty affordable, but you are very far away from the courts and might not be great to watch some tennis. I'd recommend anything in the 200 level or closer. to the south side of the baseline, maybe the 115 or 110 here, one of these sections. So also with the stadium, you get access to all the outer courts, the grandstand, the butch bolts, everything on the outside. You also just get a reserved seat inside the stadium. Grandstand, there is on the south side, it's reserved seating, but you also have access to all the outer courts. You just can't get into the stadium. And then lastly, the grounds pass. You don't get stadium access, but you do get access to everywhere else on the outer courts. You also get access to the grandstand. You just can't get the reserved seating section, which is just on the south side. Parking. We got a slight discount with SunPass on the yellow lots. Otherwise, maybe plan to purchase ahead of time if you're planning for it. The 3 different lots are, there's the yellow lots out here, which are just all on the outside the stadium. Then there's the orange lot, which is a little closer on the stadium campus side. And then you have the black lots, which are the closest you'll get to the stadium and the most expensive. You also have rideshare and taxi options available. Okay, how I got tickets. So I use Vivid Seats, not an endorsement, although it could be. Wink, wink. I used Vivid for most ticket purchases. There are other secondary market options like TickPick, StubHub, and SeatGeek. There are always additional fees, so take a look when you're choosing your tickets. It might start out as a $30 ticket, but you add on fees, it adds another $10 to $20 or more. I tend to usually wait a little closer to the event to get the lowest price possible. There is a sweet spot though, when the prices are the lowest and then they start to climb up again. Watch out for that. Grounds pass, generally you don't get a deal on a grounds pass. I mean, it was $55 a ticket with all the fees, so $40. I guess it's worth the look on a secondary market, but I didn't see anything on a grounds pass that was better than just getting it through Ticketmaster. All right, so my thoughts on the event after attending. I've gone several years now. This is like the 3rd or 4th time I've gone there at the Hard Rock Stadium. So what do you think so far?
I think it's been pretty cool in windy conditions. It's starting to heat up now, and it's more crowded today. I think there's more people here right now.
Yeah,
I think there's just less tennis going on.
Yeah, week 2, it's Monday. Yeah. I kind of thought it wouldn't be this busy, but I guess, people make time, so.
There's less matches, too.
Yeah. All right. As my on-site self said, I wasn't expecting the crowds that were there on a Monday. Again, we went Sunday night and Monday during the day. This is the second week of the tournament, and it is spring break, so that might contribute to the crowds. The stadium still feels weird to me. Sunday night, that wasn't very full. Even when I've watched matches on TV, it doesn't seem very full in there, unless you're going to see Fonseca play. The whole Inception stadium within a stadium feel is weird, because they literally build a smaller stadium venue inside this big football venue. So depending on the view, you can still see the football stands, and it is, I don't know, it just feels kind of disconnected. Maybe if you splurge on the closer courtside seating or a luxury box, maybe that'll improve your experience. Also for the day sessions, if you want to stay out of the sun, again, the south side of the stadium, which is the actual fixed part of the stadium, pretty much is shaded all day, and the sections closest to that side get shaded by like early to mid-afternoon. The outer courts seem to have a better vibe. If you can time a better seat location, you'll get closer to the action. Week 2, obviously, less matches, but at the same time, I feel like better matchups. You get those closer points, and you get to see some good tennis. Week 1, a lot of matches happen at the same time. Several courts, you might want to bounce around and see where everyone's at. You might get some lopsided matches, though, if you're going week 1, especially those higher seeds, taking out, maybe a wild card or someone who just got through qualies. If you want to avoid the big crowds, I wouldn't go that first weekend between week 1 and week 2. That's pretty much when everyone shows up, and it kind of goes from there. When we went on that Monday day session, your second week, so most of the matches were in the grandstand or Butch Bolts. Butch Bolts is named after the founder of the tournament. Some on court 1, and then doubles was mainly on the Butch Bolts and court 7. Florida can get hot and humid this time of year, so be prepared. Afternoon around 2 to 3 p.m. is usually the hottest time. This year was cooler than past years. It was probably in the upper 70s, mid 80s, and breezy. But still, I felt like by mid-afternoon I needed to get out of the sun for a bit. Around the grounds, I feel like this year is a better use of space. There's more vendors everywhere, tons of food and drink options. If you go to they name these sections now, the Sunset Terrace, which has a lot of options for food and drink, the Palm Court, the South Plaza, etc. I noticed there are locations of several seating options with shade, which they didn't have before. It was just empty field. Near the arena or near the stadium, where there's a big screen, you can watch all the matches at the same time. They have some cabana style seating, which looks like they were charging you for. I didn't really look to see how much it was. And they even had a padel court on site for you to check out. There are bleachers over by the practice courts, just some of them. You can overview a good 6 or 8 courts. That's cool to go check out to see if your favorite player is out there practicing. We were able to see Djokovic and Andy Murray out there on the practice court. They do have a section of practice courts which are a little bit more private. You can't see who's in there really well. I don't know why they do that. They should just have everything available, but should you go? If you live in Florida, make the trek. And you like watching tennis, it's worth to see all the top players. Since this was a slightly last minute, I did kind of go on the cheap, so how much did I spend? Sunday night in the stadium, I went section 115 on the secondary market was $40 a ticket. Pretty inexpensive. If I wanted to splurge a little bit, I probably would have been cart side, but I was fine with this. Parking, again, if you have a Sun Pass, you get a discount on the regular rate, so it's $35 in the yellow lots. If you want to pay more, obviously, you can go on those secondary markets and get the parking at the orange or black lots if you don't mind spending a lot. And I did kind of miss the mark. There were yellow lot prices at secondary market as low as $16, but that was about a week out, and I kind of missed out on those. Grounds Pass is good all day for the day and the night sessions. Obviously, again, you don't get access to the stadium. You just basically hang around the grounds. That was $55 with fees, so $40 before taxes and everything, which isn't a bad deal. It's a 2-week major tournament. According to John Isner, it's arguably the 5th slam.
I'm a Miami 5th major guy.
Spring here in Florida has a nice 3-month run of pro tournaments. So you have Delray Beach. Delray Beach has a ATP 250 in February, the Miami Open after Indian Wells, end of March. It's a 1,000 event for both ATP and WTA. And then here in Sarasota, there's a local challenger in the Sarasota Open early April. If you need a warm up from the cold and you don't mind it hot, come to Miami. Check it off your bucket list. It's cool to check out. Otherwise, if you don't want to spend the money right away, go to Indian Wells 2 weeks before, and then come here after. So that's my thoughts. Thanks for watching.
Good night. Very good night.